bookworms! Today I'm going to be doing my second reading wrap up of the year, so I've already finished books 6 through 10, and I have to say I'm really loving this new format, and it seems like you guys are too, so I am glad about that. Someone did leave a really good comment that they still want to know how many books I've read by month, and I'm thinking I might do recaps like that monthly on my blog, or I might mention them in wrap up videos. I'll see what I decide. Before I get into the wrap up, I am also having a giveaway. It's a really exciting giveaway because it's for my favorite book, which is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I have teamed up with Big Honcho Media and The Novel to bring you guys this giveaway, and I'm so excited to be able to offer it to you. One winner will receive a copy of The Cruel Prince. They'll also get a copy of The Darkest Part of the Forest. You'll get a really cute fairy candle, and one other thing that is escaping my mind, but I'm going to leave a link down below to my blog post where you'll be able to enter to win. So good luck, and I really am excited to be able to give this away to you guys. And now for the books. So the first book that I read is Grit by Gillian French. I really liked this contemporary novel. It follows a girl named Darcy who likes to go out and have fun and party and hook up with random boys, and she likes to do what she likes to do, but she is so fiercely protected of the people in her life that she loves. Anything at all happens, she is the first one to step up and make sure that nothing is going wrong, especially she's extra protective of her younger cousin. One of the things that I really liked about this novel is that it takes place in a rural area in Maine, and for their summer job they all spend time on this field picking blueberries, and that's just so different than any other summer job that I've ever read about. It's very rare for a main character to have a job like that that involves physical labor, and Darcy ends up getting in this competition. Whoever brings in the most blueberries ends up winning a certain amount of money, so Darcy ends up kind of having a competition with herself to just see how much better she can do, and then it turns into a competition between her and this one guy that she cannot stand for good reason. One of the main reasons that I started reading this story is because I also heard that it was about a missing girl, and it's about the characters dealing with the fallout of that missing girl and trying to figure out kind of what happened. But I will say that the mystery of the missing girl took a complete backseat to everything else that was going on in the novel. So I thought overall the reading experience was really atmospheric. I really liked Darcy as a main character, and I really enjoyed the story, and I really enjoyed the societal issues that Gillian French touched upon in this book. I was expecting more from the mystery with the missing girl, but I do like how everything came together. I ended up giving this book 3.5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read was Genuine Fraud by E. Lockhart, and I had been really looking forward to this one because I really enjoyed We Were Liars, but sadly I didn't really like this one very much. I thought the beginning of the book was a little bit confusing. You had to really pay attention to what date it was because things were told out of order. So it kind of starts in the present and then it goes back to the past and has all of these events leading up to what's going on, but the past events are not necessarily in order. The one thing that I will say is that the plot definitely moves along very quickly because this is such a short book, and there is a good amount of things that happen within here, so it was exciting and it was very readable. But the main character, Jewel, I did not like, and I don't believe that you're supposed to like her. I think she was written to be an unlikable character. So I really struggled reading from her perspective because she was so unreliable, and I often struggle with unreliable narrators. I like being able to trust the narrator. Sometimes I think it works well, but other times I just get frustrated and annoyed, and this was one of those times. I don't really want to say too much about what went on in here because it is kind of like a thrillery novel, and if you give too much away then you're totally taking away the whole point of reading it. But I will say that it follows a girl named Jewel who is constantly taking on these different personas. She is on the run, she has all of these wigs, and she is always different people. It's kind of hard to pinpoint who she actually is because she is all of these different people. So while this was a really quick read and I did read it all the way through the end, I can't say that I enjoyed it, and I ended up giving this one 2 out of 5 stars. Then I reread Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. This is another one that I reread on audio, and this is my favorite book in the series, so this was especially enjoyable for me to read. I still love Jim Dale's narration. I will say though, someone, I can't remember who it was, but in another booktube video, someone pointed out that the way that Jim Dale has Hermione say Harry's name is kind of annoying, and I did not see that in the first 2 books, but when I started listening to this one, I was like, oh my god, it is annoying. And then that was like all that I could hear, and every time that she would say Harry, I would be like, ugh. But obviously I still really enjoyed the story. I love Professor Lupin. I really loved having voices given to him and to Sirius, and just to have the Marauders in here. The Marauders are like my favorite. And then that ending and everything that happens with Harry and everything that happens with the Patronus, that I just cry every time that I read or listen to it, apparently. This book is like so emotional to me, but I love it so much and it breaks my heart, but it is still my favorite in the series, and I obviously gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. Then I read Air Awakens by Elise Kova, and I loved this one so much more than I was expecting to. It follows a girl named Valhalla, and she is a library apprentice, and she's told that she might be a sorcerer, and she has to kind of decide whether she wants to go on and continue with her responsibilities apprenticing within the library, or if she wants to accept her fate and move into the tower, which is where all of the sorcerers are within this castle, and fulfill her destiny there. I have to say that I was like immediately captivated by this book. I absolutely love elemental magic, and that is what this had, so off the bat I was just so into it. I also love brooding princes, and I love libraries, so this was like a total Kristen book. It had all of the things that I love in fantasy. This is actually a 5-book series. This is the first one. It's not that long for a fantasy book. It's only just above 300 pages, so it was a really quick read. I could not put it down. I was so invested in the story. I was frantically texting friends and being like, oh my god, this is happening, and this is what I need to happen, and it was a really fun, really engaging read for me. I love that Valhalla doesn't share the same prejudice against magic that a lot of the other people that she works with do, and I have to say that my absolute favorite character of all was Aldrich. I thought that he was wonderful, and I cannot wait to see where his storyline goes. There were so many twists within here that I didn't see coming, and things happened really quickly, and I really like when things in a story move along like that because I feel like it really helps to hold your interest. So yeah, I really loved this one, and I ended up giving it 4.5 stars. And then finally I read The Bells by Danielle Clayton, and I was so highly anticipating this one, so I was really excited to be able to get to it right before the release date was hitting. I have to say that I was immediately hooked as soon as the first paragraph of the book mentioned pink champagne and raspberry and lemon macaroons. I was just like, yes, I want to be here. So many of the events and just the way that the palace was and everything in here completely reminded me of being in the Capitol in the Hunger Games. Everything was so over the top. It was awesome. It follows a girl named Camilla, and she is one of the Bells. There are a couple of girls in each generation who are the Bells. They pretty much manage beauty within the kingdom, so people will make appointments with them to go and have their physical appearances altered. Beauty is valued above all else in this society, so it's kind of relevant to the way that the world is today, but a much more extreme version of it. The people in this society are born gray. They have to pay with a certain currency in order to be made beautiful by these Bells. She has her heart set on being the favorite because the favorite Belle lives within the palace, and she tends to the princess and the queen. Once Camilla gets to the palace, she realizes that things are not at all the way that she envisioned. Her job becomes a lot more dangerous, a lot more threatening, and there is just so much that goes on in this book. It's quite long, but it was really good. I thought that the beginning right after the opening was a little bit on the slower end, but things really picked up once Camilla ended up going to the palace. I love that all of the names and the decor are heavily inspired by French history. There were so many characters that had names that were like straight out of Marie Antoinette's reign. I have to say that I really hate Princess Sophia. She is horrible, and she's definitely one of those villains that you will immediately dislike. She's so interesting because she clearly is like kind of a product of her environment growing up where beauty is this most important thing. I think that is part of what makes her the way that she is, but she's also just such a terrible person. She's so bad. After the ending of this one, I cannot believe that I'm gonna have to wait so long to get the second one, but I really loved it, and I ended up giving this one 4 out of 5 stars. So those are all of, I almost said all of the books that I read in January, but these are the second set of books that I've read in January so far, and I really hope, wow, it's January 20th and I've already read 10 books, which is like kind of awesome. I think Bout of Books really helped me in the beginning of the month, and I'm definitely curious to see how much I'll read before the month ends. This might end up being one of my best reading months ever, which will be pretty cool. Don't forget to go down below and enter the giveaway to win a copy of The Cruel Prince, and also let me know if you have read any of the books that I talked about or if you're interested in reading any of them, and I will see you guys soon in a new video. Bye!